Well, here you have it. Semler's gone on a bit of an adventure, so he's not quite here yet. But yeah, we're getting ready to get into Game 3, which is going to be dust2. And, well, you've heard what the desk said about that crazy game on Cash, and I think this one is not going to be any different at all. I think I actually have to agree with Thorian. It's going to come down to the Kenny S show, and we're going to have to see really what happens from there. Kenny S obviously gotten gradually better as the game has gone along, and for Cash, he was definitely a massive part of Titan managing to close that game out. In addition to that, I think we have to highlight Existence, because Existence has been stepping up immensely, and Assembler joins me here now.
What in blazes?
What in blazes, indeed. But you would agree that obviously Cash, Kenny S was the Kenny S we know and love, but it wasn't all him. Titan did actually step up as a team as well, and I think we have to highlight players like Maniac and Existence.
And Apex.
Oh, and Apex, obviously.
Well, it feels like it was very even across the board. When we looked at the scoreboard, everybody was getting frags. RPK, granted, was lagging a little bit behind, but it seemed like he was also put into more precarious positions on the T side.
The rotations
as well, where you can get easily picked off by lurkers. So these sorts of situations you have to keep in mind when you're considering like RPK's score. But for the rest of them, they were able to really play off of their positions well. Maniac with the boosts, Apex creating openings with his entry frags, which he repeatedly did on their T side. So I think that everybody stepped up to the plate on both teams. They're all doing great work, and clearly, it's just an all-out slugfest, Ben. It really feels like a brawl. Like this is a bar fight. Stools are flying through the air. Somebody just got bottled. Like it's brutal.
Oh yeah, it's a full-on barn party in a sense. Anything can happen. What I'm really excited to see, because what we saw from Titan really versus Na'Vi on dust2 was their restraint, their willingness to give up long, not contested ever. Basically, just have Maniac live by the cars and have Kenny take the initial hit from long.
Right.
All that kind of stuff. If they're going to continue to do that, or if that was something specifically designed to work versus Na'Vi, that's going to be interesting to see. And we also know that Na'Vi, they rarely pull out 2 AWPs. It's mainly Guardian just running the show without a single AWP and going all over the map. In the case of TSM, they have 3 potential AWPers that they could pick up, and we've seen it. Versus NIP, they tried the double up setup. Didn't quite work out versus Forest and Alu. They, the Swedes got the... Swede and Finn.
Well, Swede and Finn, yeah, I suppose.
They got the better of them in that game, but that's a weapon that they can actually pull out. And, well, speaking of double ops, Existence, he pulled out the AWP and had a brilliant performance versus Na'Vi.
Now, the one thing that you have to consider here is that teams have wised up a little bit to the shenanigans that Titan have been up to on dust2. When I say shenanigans, I'm talking about the various smokes that they've been using. The smoke over on a site that Kenny likes to use that'll allow him to look down long and be a bit hidden. Also the smoke mid, where you have the boost, where Existence gets boosted up so he can look down Suicide into T-spawn. These sorts of tricks aren't necessarily going to work versus a team like TSM, who have now had plenty of games to watch and learn what Titan have in store for them. The same thing could be said, however, for TSM. Dupree, car at long, likes to sit behind that smoke, behind that fire right there. These sorts of little tricks, now it's really going to come down to, I think, just, again, the brute force method. You're going to be able to pepper in, the tricks, but who's going to be landing the shots at the end of the day? That's all that matters at this point.
Well, we're about to find out which first going to have the traditional knife round. On a map like dust2, it doesn't really mean that much, but for these teams, it might be a tiny bit different, seeing how they tend to get most of the rounds on the T side. And what we've seen as of late on a map like dust2 is the fact that CT rounds are the ones that are the easiest to come by for most teams. Do you think we're going to see something like that?
I think we're going to see a repeat. I think both of these teams are struggling on the CT side. Doesn't matter the map. I think we're getting back into the good old aggressive, run and gun. We're going to get up in your face fast and apply the pressure. That's what we're going to be seeing here from both of these teams, I think. So, TSM, they win the knife round, and they decide to start on CT side. But then that could be, it's almost like old school, where it's just like, okay, we'll start CT just to see how many rounds we can get in, get our eye in, right? Titan are going to get ahead in rounds, but we know that we've got our T side coming up, and then we're going to slam it home, right? So let's go ahead and see what we have in store for us here. It is the last map of this best of 3 between Titan and TSM, and already Kerrigan getting dropped fairly low there, down to 50 HP to start.
And we can already see a change in TSM's pistol round, not having Kerrigan alone behind that car at long. And it's actually a fairly standard setup coming out from TSM initially. Device peeking out mid, Dupree back at the B bomb site. And from the looks of it, Titan are looking to go towards that B bomb site.
Yeah, they're definitely gathered up. It is looking like a B split eventually here. And this is, again, just run and gun. Look at this. Like, talk about, brute force. It's like nothing but Kevlar. This is like matchmaking strats right here. I mean, I'm practically calling here YOLO B all day, every day. There you go. 5 Kevlar, couple decoys, and just run. Run and land the shots. And now we have to see if Dupree and Device can weather the storm. And they just go straight out onto B slope right away. They give up the B site. They're like, we don't want none of this. Dupree's down to 1 HP.
This is such a hard retake. They absolutely have no nades. They have a decoy. That's all they have to actually make this retake happen. And you can see Apex and Existence with the crossfire. This is going to be so tough for TSM.
Incredibly difficult, and Maniac has already picked up 2 frags. Both of the guys waiting on B slope. They do manage to just return, however, but it is not going to be enough. Kerrigan gets slapped down, and it is just Titan going on to pick up the first round of dust2.
That was just excellent play from Titan. I mean, as soon as they figured out that the main aggression was coming from up and out with those 3 players, you had Maniac and I think it was Apex who ran out from window and doors and basically caught TSM off guard with their 2 remaining players. Obviously, Dupree being down to 1 HP, not going to be the easiest task to overcome, but Kenny is getting started.
Thought he managed to tag up well, no, that's Dupree over on the B site. It's Device who's currently lurking around mid with that scout, having picked it up from Kerrigan. But what a start there already. This isn't going to give TSM confidence. This is going to ring their bells. This is going to slow them down. Titan have now got an entry frag, and we've seen what they're capable of when they have the man advantage. They slow down the pace of the game. They see if TSM are going to start pushing to try and get information, and they're going to see if they're going to keep getting challenged mid. Look at this. They're really looking for the all-out fight. Apex gets dropped low, however. Device does manage to tag him with that scout, and he gets the headshot onto Kenny. There you go. And that's what happens when you end up just like giving in to what TSM want. Device is like, please take this fight with me. Give my team a way back into this round.
I don't think Device might be the only person in the world right now who wants to take a duel with Kenny S when it comes to like snipers versus snipers.
That's like the battle of wills that's going on as well. He's like, I don't care about you, Kenny. I'll peek you all day. It's all good. Sit down. Headshot. There you go.
Oh,
boom.
Look at Dupree. He's actually pushed up all the way through upper dark in his own lower dark, and this is a ton of information from TSM. He does have to have a worry about Apex there in top mid as he takes him out, and now it's just the all-out brawl once again. Whoa. RPK cleaning out that A bomb side. Now it's all on Cajun.
But they don't have time. What is going on? RPK, is he going to be able to make the run for B side? I don't think so. I think he's going to be late. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and he just gets the plant. Ridiculous.
But he has to buy time because Existence is so far away.
And Cajun is so very low. He's trying to go for the pre-fire around the corner, using up all of his bullets, and he somehow gets the kill. 10 seconds left, but he knows that the last man has to be close. Apex very low on HP. The Molotov goes sailing in, and Cajun B, he's going to swap out for the guns. He's got the flash. He's going to get on that bomb, try and draw Apex in, but Apex just goes for the shot through the smoke. He reads Kerrigan like a book, or Cajun rather, like a book, and there you have it. What a close round.
Insanely close round, and very well done by TSM to actually do that much damage to the Titan side. First off, you have Device picking up that headshot through the door onto Kenny, but the 5-7 work really coming up from the 3 TSM guys in A slope really put put a bit of a scare into Titan. And
yeah,
I think OPK, you're fine. You've got several years of experience with TS, but you don't have to cut it that close when it comes to planting the bomb.
Talk about a feel, right? Just yeah. I've got the time. And he literally makes it, guys. Right there, just makes the cutoff before he wouldn't have been able to get that bomb plant, and the round would have gone TSM's way. But unlike on Cash, where we just had the out-and-out brawl round after round until like the 7th round where somebody finally had to cave an eco, this time around in the 3rd, TSM will be on pistols with a hard eco. But once again, look at Kerrigan.
Look at Kerrigan.
Oh, he's just tracing him. Yeah, you can't pull that off all day. They know. They figured it out. And he is gone.
If Titan actually realized that and saw that from the get-go as they turned the corner, that would have been amazing. But that's just like the biggest bait ever.
He was really waiting. And you could see him tracing as well. So it's Kerrigan had all the time.
Kerrigan just wanted to get closer so he can, land 2 quick headshots and be done with it. But it seemed like Titan were kind of aware of it.
They were definitely looking there, but that's the thing. Both of these teams have played this map this tournament, and both of these teams have definitely done their homework. Existence, one of the hardest working CS players in the world. You know that he's been watching the demos, and he's like, okay, I see what you did there. So they're going to be aware, but the same could be said for TSM. They've seen Titan play dust2. They're aware, like I said, of the smokes, and there you go already. Cajun B starts off strong and picks off Maniac to begin, and that's not going to help things here for Titan. First buy round coming up for TSM. I suppose, after the force in the second round. And they do manage to start off with the entry.
I think that was very much needed. And Apex trying to put the pressure on Zipnix here in mid. And Molotov is going to force him out, but he actually gets caught out by the grenade from Zipnix there.
I think that was a second flash as well from B site. Talk about some teamwork there from TSM.
Really solid done. And now they're 2 men up, and Titan are going to have to struggle to find any answers here. They need to have someone from TSM actually peek out on them and give them a frag, really, for them to have a chance of getting back into this round.
Smoke is down on B site. Kenny is currently scoped up, but it clears. And now he's going to be able to look towards Plateau. There's nobody there, however. They're holding from the site. And now does Kenny get a target? The jump, he goes for the flick. He does not connect. It takes the second shot and not going to hit that one either. And now it's down to Dupree and Device holding up close. They managed to get the drop on RPK, and it's now the remaining 2 members here for Titan. Device dancing behind the car. He's going to go for the big spray down, and Dupree is going to give him a helping hand and rob him of that frag. It's now down to Kenny, and he is going to back off and save with 20 seconds left in the round, just trying desperately to hold on to the AWP. And look at this, TSM, they're on the hunt. All 5 members spreading out across this map, trying to cut him off.
They want this up out of Kenny's hands, and well, he's going to fight for it. Takes down Kerrigan, but for Kenny S, this is big. If he's able to hold on to this, that could actually allow Titan to force up.
And they certainly will. He has to hold on to it. There's the headshot. Oh, and just as the round ticks over, he ducks down and stays alive, and they will have the money to go for a buy here, Titan.
Yeah, and actually, Existence had the money to buy a straight-up AK and head armor. Actually opts to go for a Tech 9 and full nades.
And this makes sense when it comes to Existence as well.
Oh,
I mean, he will take the hit just to have the nades. Tech 9 is just so good as well. So no reason not to. Whereas TSM, they only lose the 2. Kenny is going to be able to pick off Cajun B, so there's the start that they were looking for. Dupree not able to reply, and Kenny, well, it's Device who's kind of just holding around mid right now. We'll see if Device is going to be brave enough to take the peak battle again, now that he does not have an AWP or a scout.
I think the safest thing to do is basically just do what Device is currently doing, wait for an angle, potentially do a pop flash into mid when you want some information, and that's pretty much all you can do.
And there it is, right?
Yeah.
Pop flash, checks it out. Kenny's going to get a fresh smoke thrown in his face at A house. So now some time wasted there. We has to kind of reposition himself, but it does look like Titan, at least for now, they've still got 50 seconds, so they do have some options.
Yeah, and again, TSM doing the same thing we've seen them do all of the time, really, when they've been playing dust2. They're going to give up cat control, but, well, it seems like Titan wants to take the hard way onto the A-bomb site, and they're going to have to figure out Zipnix.
Well, Dupree's pushing into upper dark, so now they know. Zipnix holding up close, had to get that first frag. He's going to go for the second one as well. Nearly repositions enough for the third one. RPK walking up cat, and it's going to be Kerrigan taking the peek at long, annihilates the push, and Titan are done for. It's down to RPK, but he's only got 20 seconds to collect that bomb and get back up onto this site for the plant. He's going to get caught out, goes for the spray, and what, the longest spray in the history? And then taps out Device.
It basically goes into that spray battle thinking like, oh, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you. And at some point you're so committed that you kind of just have to follow through. And then he's like, well, this is hopeless. I'm just going to tap you down.
Yeah, that's so good, though. Love that RPK just pulls off. I mean, okay, then. You know, it wasn't a get-right spray, but then that was kind of like an RPK. Who stops a spray halfway through and just like, okay, you know, tap, tap, tap. There you go, RPK style points for you. But most importantly, that's TSM picking up a second round here.
And putting Titan on an eco.
Exactly. So this is now starting to get a little dangerous here for Titan, I'd say. They cannot afford to give many rounds on the CT side to TSM, considering how good both T sides have been for these teams.
Yeah, Existence already put down to 9 HP as well, so... Well, P250 is invested for Titan. At best, they can hope to get maybe a kill or two, and if they're extremely lucky and the rotations from TSM are really slow, they could potentially get a plant. But this is just going to be, well, as you pointed, you know, so nicely put it, a YOLO B-rush.
Straight up YOLO B, man. Don't stop. No fear. Just run. Hold down W, hold down mouse 1, get the job done, and get the plant.
Yeah.
Existence peeks out in mid. Doesn't see anybody holding there. It's going to be Device and Dupree, however, and Dupree doing a pretty good job. Device is going to be able to pick off Apex, but Dupree gets overwhelmed in the end. Device holds his ground at the window, looking for a second one. He's not going to get it, but the damage is dealt, and Maniac actually giving a helping hand, taking out Kenny, and then Nade just ends Maniac, who was crouching behind Big Red. So there you have it. Titan even coming together. Luckily for Maniac, it's not 3,300 you lose now, it's only 300, so it doesn't mean that his economy, like his eco round has just been wrecked, but that doesn't help things when you're looking to get a bomb plant.
No, it really doesn't, but Kenny does have the money to actually pick up that AWP, and I think that's what Titan are going to have to rely on Kenny S doing work with that AWP.
Yeah. And Cajun B is going to be the opera here for TSM. Aggressive hold on Cat. They're changing it up. Yeah. And there's the upper. Oh, and he just barely falls off. That was nearly a guaranteed frag there for Cajun. He just barely falls off the head of his teammate.
Yeah, and that was definitely going to catch Titan off because that's something TSM hasn't done all tournament. So TSM bringing out every trick in the book at this point to get just that one more round.
To get ahead.
Yeah.
And now they fall back to more of a standard hold.
Yeah, look at Maniac. Maniac's constantly being a nuisance towards that long area, pushing out fairly aggressively, taking chances and, well, desperately just wanting to find that frag to create a rotation from TSM.
Well, now we have to see just how effective this push-up Cat is going to be. You can see Sipnix walking his way back into CT, but he's going to hang around under Cat. He's just going to be listening. If there's a step, this is going to give it away. But the flash is in there. That's going to buy a little bit of time here, but there's the smoke, and now begins the push. Titan rushing up onto this A site. Cajun B falls back into pit, gives ground. Sipnix trying to hold, knows that somebody is here, knows that somebody's close, and he gets the spray down onto Existence. Incredible spray there from Sipnix to give his team the man advantage. And there's Cajun B landing the headshot onto Kenny S. Goodbye, AWP for Titan. That's not going to help things here. The Danes getting more and more control in this round, and it's down to the remaining 3 members here for Titan to hold strong to keep this bomb safe. And it's up to TSM now to rush up, and the push begins. Sipnix, Kerrigan, everybody getting a piece of the action, and it's just down to Maniac, stuck in Gandalf, and unluckily for him, well, he will fall.
But TSM played that very nicely. They just were completely fine giving up control of the A-bomb site. You could see already just by when the nades went out, that was when Cajun just pulled back, said like, fine, we can deal with this. We're going to just do a proper retake. Sipnix finding Existence in that smoke.
That was huge.
Absolutely,
huge.
Absolutely. And from there on out, they just took it systematically, went as a team and, well, basically picked Titan apart one by one. And you were talking about it prior to the game. The teams have watched each other, so they know what they're doing at this point. And that smoke from Kenny S, Cajun knew exactly where he was going to be.
Oh, that was big. That was a huge frag. And now we have to wonder, how are things going to develop here? Sipnix, Cajun B. I mean, they are holding on long. Kerrigan is going to pick off Maniac, so that's a big kill there.
Yeah, and this is actually a fair investment, you know, a fairly big investment from Titan's side. Not that many nades, but Tech 9 and armor.
And they're already trying to slow things down, but they're just going for the straight up plant and all of this smoke, all the confusion. Kenny is going to hold down on that bomb, and he will get it done. So mission successful for Titan as far as they're concerned. Looking to do a bit more damage here to the economy of TSM, but they are happy with this bomb plant. There's RPK managing to pick up the headshot onto Kerrigan, and then the shot through. Very clean work there by Sipnix. Not in time to save his teammate, but still, TSM should feel pretty decent with this. They saved the 2 most important guns, and that's the ops. So long as they can hold on to the sniper rifles, if they have to buy Colts, it's not the end of the world.
Oh, that's true. And on the other hand, Titan going to be very pleased, picking up 2 frags and the bomb in addition. So yeah, well, speaking of, you know, TSM holding on to those 2 orbs, guess who's going to counter that? 2 orbs coming out from Titan as well. And we didn't see Existence orb that much on the T side on dust2. It was mainly the CT side. So this is going to be interesting to see what Titan have planned.
Let's see if Device is actually going to be able to pick up a kill here in Upper Dark. They seem to be just holding right now. Holding these angles. That's RPK in upper right now, just making sure that TSM can't push in to get information. And there it is, the pick. Cajun B takes an aggressive peek through Longhouse, and Existence was lying in wait. Picks up that frag fairly easily, and there's the entry frag for Titan. So now, favor shifts to the terrorist side. They're the ones with the control now. It's going to be TSM sweating. And look at the shift. Kerrigan decides to push towards Cat. He's going to go for some kind of information gathering mission here.
It's also setting up in that classic Fox position.
Yeah, man, this is brutal. If he can land this shot, this is going to be big. And there it is. Takes out Kenny before Kenny can pull the trigger. And Sipnix is there to support as well. Takes out Apex. Just like that, TSM swing the momentum back their way.
Existence has gotten out on long here now, though, so you might be able to actually punish either Kerrigan or Sipnix.
The smoke goes down to block off CT now, and Existence, he's getting bogged down on long, not being given a target, trying for the wallbang, but he's not going to get lucky. And RPK in the meantime walking his way up, Cat, and he gets the job done. Takes out Kerrigan, goes for the spray, not going to manage to connect with Sipnix, but that forces an opening here, and Titan looking to jump on this. Dupree doesn't hit the timing right, and he's going to open it up with the flash for Device. Device, does he actually peek out? He will, but he takes a bullet to the face. Instead, it's Dupree who walks in to save the day, and it's going to be Existence now, lying in wait in the pit. He's got the AWP, and the bomb is planted for him. This is an ideal situation for him. Unfortunately for him, that smoke goes down, and this makes things a little tricky. He needs to pre-fire. He needs to know exactly where that bomb is planted, and he's getting faced from CT slope as well in the meantime.
Yeah, very well played by TSM, and there's the value of actually being conservative with your nades and knowing what kind of situations that could come up. Exactly. So having that smoke pretty much saves them the round. Otherwise, Existence can just remain down in that pit and just throw shots off.
Unless TSM can hit like the biggest headshot of their lives, basically.
Yeah.
They're not getting rid of him. That's pretty much like his round in the bag.
Yeah. But you force Existence hands. The second you have that smoke, you force his hand.
Well, let's see. Aggressive long take here coming out from Titan's side. Kerrigan alive in the pit. Doesn't see that somebody walked past him. Seems like he realizes it now. Steps up and takes out Existence. And that's actually going to really hurt Titan. The shot comes in from Kenny. Repeat from Kerrigan. Chases him back around the corner. And they really are turning this into a bit of a battle here. RPK holding lower dark is going to pick off Dupree, who tried to push into upper to get a flank going. And TSM have to be careful here. They have the advantage, but they can't throw it away.
And Kenny somehow gets up from long there. 22 HP remaining. And right now, well, Apex pushing up short. That's actually going to pick up Cajun B. This is a huge pickup. And now back into a 3v3.
And where do they decide to take it at this point? They have to realize that they've weakened their defense severely here. They could be worried about Sipnix, but Sipnix is currently holding in CT, making sure that that long cross isn't going to happen. There's no smoke for Titan. So Apex, he doesn't have any way to kind of like force Sipnix's hand either. This is all now going to be down to Device. Does he get this peek right? And he does. He gets the kill onto RPK. Molotov to follow. That's actually a wall. That's impassable. Kenny S can't walk through that. He's too low on HP. And Device turns around and takes out Apex, who was flanking through mid. Kenny, so much time being wasted. This amps up the tension so much. He has to land the perfect shot, and he just doesn't see it coming. Device holding up close, cuts him down as he exits Upper Dark onto that B site, and instantly, Titan call for a timeout.
And you were talking about it. How is will this affect Titan, knowing that it's been the T sides that's been their focal point? And same thing for TSM. TSM have gotten off to a great start, picking up 7 CT rounds on dust2 already. So for them to, well, Titan, they have to be flustered at this point. This is not going according to plan. This is not what the rest of the match has played out like. So I could definitely understand the timeout from Titan's perspective. In TSM right now, this just kind of has to be one of those moments where they're just kind of, rubbing their hands together, thinking like, oh yes, this is going exactly according to plan.
Well, once you get your opponent to force that timeout, they only have one.
Yeah, exactly. And you're kind of getting into their head at that point. You're rustling their jimmies.
Well, yeah, rustling their jimmies, man. That's right. I mean, I actually saw Kerrigan smile. I thought that he wasn't capable. I didn't think that was possible. Like, this was the man of stone. He just sits in that corner and always looks like that. He looks not too flustered right now. He usually looks a little bit more grim.
You can see Dupree as well, just flirting with the camera.
Yeah, Dupree was like making vacuum noises outside earlier. He's in a good mood.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is a big play now for TSM, and you could already see like Titan, at least in the camera on their side. Very emotional players, right? Kenny, Apex. I mean, they're right there next to the camera, and they're like the two most emotional players on that team, apart from Maniac, right, who sits on the other side. Like they're just like face palming, just rubbing their head, holding their head in their hands, practically. That's a lot of emotion to show. That really shows you how distraught they are right now.
It's signs of defeat,
and that you cannot allow.
Exactly, and I think that's kind of why what led to the timeout.
Yeah.
You don't want to allow that to go on for too long of a time. So getting everyone together, talking it through, and basically like giving your boys a proper pep talk. That's what it comes down to. Because even though for Titan and TSM, the T side has been the strong point so far, you can't really forget that. Well, in the current meta, it's actually the CT side that's been the one to give the most rounds. Mm-hmm. So that's still that, I guess, positive thought that you have to just constantly have in the back of your head. Like, okay, if it doesn't work out on the T side, we'll always have what is, as of right now, the most favored side to go. And that's pretty much what they have to go by. I'm actually looking at the money as well. I'm kind of curious whether or not they're going to opt to force buy. They could potentially have RPK or open up for Kenny S, get an AK in return.
But that would actually limit them in that sense, because then either of those players doesn't have Kevlar.
Oh yeah, exactly. Lots of decisions to be made here, and they could go for AKs and Tech 9s if they want extra nades and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But they definitely need to figure out a place where they can execute properly. And one of the cool things that TSM has done differently from their previous dust2 match is that they're actually having CT setups that allow them to cover short. And that's really caught TSM up, Titan off guard.
It certainly seems like it. And Kerrigan probably would have seen, like, existence, like we were saying, he likes to do his homework. And that's the thing. It turns into the mind game, the bluff. And, are we too predictable? How do we shake things up? You're going up against an opponent who's done his homework. That's when the mind games begin. But we do see the buy come out here from Titan. They don't waste any time at all. They go straight up to whatever they can afford, essentially. And Existence, once again, taking the hit and going for the Tech Knight and nades instead of going for an AWP, or no, not for a Galil armor or something along those lines. So instead, this is all down to the execution plan here from Titan and what they decide to go with. And so far, is this looking just like the straight-up rush?
This could be, again, what we just refer to as the lemming drop, which Titan made famous, which is basically having Apex being the solo suicide bomber who drops down into spawn and tries to create as much havoc as possible while the rest of the Titan members push up onto site.
They're completely unaware of this right now as well, TSM. I mean, Sipnix is just pushed into CT. That's actually a very disfavorable position for him if Apex were to go for the drop. Sipnix has to do a 180, react in time. Apex can take his head clean off.
Yeah, a lot of it is going to come down to KJB, whether or not he's going to be able to get 1 or 2 frags. And he's actually going to... This is going to play out the exact same way it did previously, retake style.
Well, here we go. Sipnix is already going to start off strong, take out Existence, but Sipnix gets returned on by Apex, who did drop down. Cajun B falling back into pit, just like he did the time before. And once again, TSM are going to start closing in on this A site. Are they going to be able to have the same impact? That's what we're about to find out as the bomb gets planted for Cat. And there you go. Kerrigan with the peekaboo, takes out Maniac, and he even just barely falls short of spraying down Kenny. That this is now going to be a perfect, flawless retake for TSM.
And it's actually kind of weird because Titan actually invested so many people down towards CT spawn, they had no one to really cover short. So RPK, sure, he has to plant for short because they haven't really cleared out long, and they know that Cajun B is going to be there with an orb. Kerrigan is most likely going to be there with a Colt as well. So yeah, a bit of a weird situation because Titan weren't able to do anything except getting that initial frag onto Sipnix in spawn. They were kind of stuck after that. But again, solid retake from TSM, and they make it super evident that they're very comfortable just letting that A-bomb site go.
It's been quite some time actually since we've seen a team, just leave it be, right? Usually it's a bit more of a fist fight.
Yeah.
But they do have supreme confidence right now, TSM, and the rounds are telling the story. The frags are as well, and the economy. TSM now have got to be sitting on some pretty sick bank. So now we have to see what Titan are capable of. They've lost so many rounds in a row that getting that plant means full AKs across the board and a reasonable number of nades to work with as well. And this is when we start to see them, shift up. It's the flip-flop. They're not having any success on A. Now let's head over to B. Problem is that TSM have a bit of a catch-all strat going. Sipnix, I mean, he's very close to B site right now. They could have a lot of defense set up here very quickly.
And Device misses that first shot. So Titan are going to come barreling in. And they're going to have to get rid of him quickly.
Yeah, that's going to be the problem. But there it is. Dupree lining them up. And the control from Dupree. The control from Dupree with 20 bullets. He gets 3 kills. Existence a little bit late to the party is going to catch out Cajun B. But it's now turned into a 1v2 here. And this is feasible for Existence, only that he's got 20 seconds left. That's so little time. Goes for the Molotov to try and force him out into the open, but Dupree is already waiting below window. And Existence, again, so little time. He can't check all the angles, and Dupree is going to pick up the quad kill this round. Phenomenal defense put up by him in particular.
Just a masterful round from Dupree. Pretty much saving TSM that round. And, well, you alluded to the fact that TSM actually had quite a few people towards that B bomb site. That could be the savior for them. And that was the saving grace. It really was. Because after those 2 frags from Titan, they thought that B-bomb site, that's clear. No question. And then Dupree
guess what?
shows
Ta-da!
up. Yeah, exactly.
He's like that friend who shows up at the party that you really didn't want. Yeah, right. Okay, so, man, brutal. Just brutal for Titan. They're just getting stopped cold at every turn. And again, entry frag goes TSM's way, and a double one at that. Triple now, as it is a 2-on-5 scenario here. Existence gets through the mid doors. He's got the bomb coming, but then it's just a 1-for-1 trade, but that's not good enough right now. We need RPK to go full God mode. He needs to land it. And you can hear the tank's engine, the diesel, starting to rev.
Yeah, exactly.
But then somebody put sugar in the tank, Ben. And it's just not going anywhere.
Yeah, that tank is destroyed. At least for that round.
And by the tank, I meant, tank of gas. I don't mean they actually poured like 2 tons of sugar to fill out the tank. Although that would be just as effective, I guess.
Speaking of the tank, I mean, RPK is actually having his best performance frag-wise in this game when nothing is really happening for Titan. So that is a bit interesting to see, and we're going to see Tech 9 armor coming out from Titan. And what I actually missed seeing from Titan is something like a B split. We haven't seen that many B splits coming out from them. The pistol round was sort of a B split. You had Existence playing the bait role, which led to Device basically giving up the B bomb site. And right now, here we go.
Well, you might get your wish.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. Existence actually catches out Cage and B. And actually 2 kills coming in here for Titan. So once again, the Tech Knights proved to be so useful. Maniac is going to catch out Sipnix, who was rotating through. It's a 2-on-4 scenario here. Device flashes his way through, but doesn't realize that there's somebody mid-doors. He's going to have to worry about lower dark, and he spots him moving in. So now Kerrigan and Device working in tandem together, trying to force these angles. They need to burn valuable time off of this clock, literally trekking CT. But now that they know, they're going to just start pushing up B slope, and it's going to be the knock-knock joke, and RPK isn't listening. Slaps down Kerrigan to begin, and that leaves Device all on his lonesome here. Does catch out the Lurker Maniac, so he does have that going for him. But at this point, Device, it's pretty much a scenario where he's going to hold on to that AWP and just back away.
Yeah, he's going to pick that right before the bomb goes off, I would assume. There we go.
Very nicely done. And that's the best case scenario there.
Yeah, but yeah, as we were saying it, wanting to see more B splits coming out from Titan, and they give it to us, and Existence with that opening towards the B bomb site was absolutely massive for them. You know, instantly, as soon as you get that frag, you know that you can just push through. Maniac being the smart man and staying put in mid as well. And it's actually quite comical because you see so many teams do that. Everyone has one guy that stays put in mid to catch the rotations, but nobody really expects that man to be there. But in any case, a much-needed round for Titan.
Absolutely. And we go into the 15th round now. 10-5, I mean, it's pushing it, but still not out of the realms of, reality here. Titan could come back into this with a strong CT side. Sipnix isn't going to help things along, however. He takes out Existence to begin with here. So TSM, once again, have that man advantage to go off of. And Kerrigan holding close to Longhouse. That will be the battle of wills between him and Maniac at some point in the future. Kenny now looking to see if he can't dance on the edge of the flames. Takes a little bit of fire damage, but he's not afraid to get burned. He is afraid, however, of taking a bullet to the face, and that's exactly what Cage and B does.
And down to 3 men. It's going to be extremely hard for Titan to actually get onto a bomb site. And you can see Maniac and Kerrigan duking it out along.
Now the real battle begins, and Maniac wins out. So that's a great kill there. RPK at range, not going to be able to pick off Cage and B fast enough. And now they know exactly where Maniac is. 25 seconds left. He has no time for shenanigans. He has to push up and try and get onto this bomb site. But Cajun is waiting, and he just casually walks right into his crosshairs. TSM finished the half strong with 11 rounds at the end of the first half. Titan, you can see by their faces, 4 rounds isn't what they were looking for. 4 rounds is definitely not enough.
But I guess this could be the odd game out where we see excellent CT halves from both teams.
Can Kenny get the confidence?
Yeah, well, that's actually a big point because we talked about it prior to the game starting that Kenny, this could easily be the Kenny S show. He was looking good on Cash. Can he bring that in towards dust2? Because dust2 is a very AWP-friendly map. But instead, Kenny has actually been quite quiet.
Look at this play here, however. It's going to be a straight-up push on Cat. 3 guys boosted up here for Titan. They're just a wall, waiting to see if anybody's going to be peeking forward. That's Cage and B, I believe. He's going to get overwhelmed, or at least he should. Sipnix, in the meantime, has cleared out Kenny from the site itself. And so now we actually have a real firefight going on. Maniac down into CT slope, and they're trying to push up on the Cat, but Sipnix picks up another frag. Kerrigan follows suit, takes out Maniac, and it's just Apex and Existence alone here, alive and alone in a 2-on-4. Make that a 3-on-4, but then it comes right back into it, and a casual click from Device to end the show. Dupree and Device picking up the final 2 frags for Kingwin. Well, for TSM. Kingwin are happy. TSM are happy. There you go. They're sponsors, but they're happy because they just picked up the pistol then.
Yeah, and that's absolutely huge. I think the pistol is what Titan needed to get back into this. That was the, one of the last straws that they could actually grasp after. And as long as TSM doesn't mess anything up and lose to this force buy coming in from Titan, well, there you go. A free bomb site.
It's about as good as it gets. There you go.
RPK, though.
He is not amused. He just took out that man. Dupree is gone. Maniac crouching on the site just flashed white. He couldn't do a damn thing in that scenario. And now it's down to the remaining 2 members here for Titan. Great shot there by Apex. Catches Kerrigan as he gets around that corner. And now they're looking to split this site. Kenny looking for the jump shot, theatrics, but it's not going to happen. Instead, it's Apex stepping forward to pick up the headshot, but Cajun B is going to find him in turn, and it's just Kenny now. An impossible scenario for him. 1v2, just crossing his fingers, hoping, and he's going to get the first kill. Now can Device stay strong? It's Scout on Scout, and the timing was just right for Device to peek, but now Kenny is reloaded, and he's looking for the point blank, goes for the flick, and this is the all-out battle! Kenny gets it done! And does he have the time?
I don't think he does.
Countdown begins.
I don't think he has the time.
I think it's going to be down to the wire. It's going to be so incredibly close, and he's a second short. It is not going to happen. Despite everything, Kenny's best efforts, TSM collect the round. And that's got to feel like robbery for Titan at that point.
Oh, that's a punch in the gut for sure. And you can see, again, Titan are in the situation where they have to force up. They have to stop TSM at some point, and this is the best, well, this is the only opportunity they're going to get. So we're seeing 2 scouts and a bunch of pistols, and look at the aggression.
Yeah, no surprise. The full-out YOLO push, straight up mid. They want to get control fast. RPK in lower dark catches out Cajun, but he's lost both of his teammates in the meantime. Kenny holding this angle with the scout, just waiting for somebody to peek. He knows that somebody's tagged, but TSM are not going to be generous today. They will not give him that free frag. Instead, it's going to be Existence taking matters into his own hands. Goes for a tricky pop flash, but Zipnix responds with an AK bullet to the face, and Device takes out Maniac, who was lurking on long, and it's now just down to Kenny S. The only man alive here for Titan, and he's got that scout once again. 3 guys tagged up here. 3 shots, and he can turn the tides, but he's about to get flanked by Dupree. Caught out in the open, and there it is. TSM now 2 rounds away from closing it out and going to that lower bracket final.
Yeah, do you think we're going to see a similar thing to what happened in the VP game? Okay, not to jinx them or anything, but the TSM actually looks really impressive as of right now.
It looks like they found themselves to me.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, there you go. Device just beating up on Kenny. They're straight up bullying them at this point. Device just continues to repeak as well, and he is going to get punished. Apex does return, so they bring it back to a 4-on-4 here. Apex with the smoke as well to make sure that he can't get punished.
A bit too confident from Device right there. I think he was feeling it the second he picks off Kenny. I mean, if you can take down Kenny, then surely you should be able to take down Apex.
This is a bit problematic for Kerrigan. That 5-7 isn't going to help him. But instead, this is now going to set it up for the long push. Nice flash there by Maniac to slow things down. This is going to buy enough time for him to get onto the site. Another pop flash onto A-Slope, and is he going to be able to follow up with the frag? Massive damage dealt. There's 1, there's 2, and Maniac not going to get the 3rd. Cajun B takes him out, but the damage is done. They're on life support. This is now down to Cajun. And they're just trying to keep him from planting that bomb. He's trying to bait him out, takes out Apex, who walks right into that one. Now Cajun looking to click away on short, but it's not going to happen. RPK to the rescue. The tank arrives. It was late, but he got there in the end.
Oh, it's a slow vehicle.
It is, man.
It needs time. But speaking of RPK, it's 19 frags. Actually, the most on the server.
Well, talk about a turnaround as well.
Oh,
because he had we saw on the first 2 maps, rough start there. But this time around on Dust 2. It's RPK's time to shine, apparently. Now we just need the rest of Titan to start stepping up.
And, well, TSM actually opting to force up here. And it's working out brilliantly. Dupree with 2 frags. Device follows up with 1 of his own. And all of a sudden, it's just Apex and Existence left.
Just like that. And that was some incredibly clean work there from Dupree as well. Talk about control. We saw it earlier with the M4A1, but he follows suit with the AK. This man is versatile. One of the best rifles in the world for a reason. Apex and Existence are now all by their lonesome. I mean, 2v5.
Where do you go from here?
Exactly. What do? You just need to land the most godlike frags of your life. Dupree, well, there you go. Apex, that's a start. And he spots the moving up cat, spotted that bomb as well. So now they know. Existence now needs to not get caught by Kerrigan, but it's not going to happen. 2 swift frags come in for TSM. Device and Kerrigan both. And this is now match point. And what's worse for Titan is that TSM have 10 of them. 10 of them. Can you go 10-0 considering the situation?
Well, it's going to be extremely hard. Look at the buy that they have managed to muster up. It's not the greatest thing in the world, and Device. I mean,
again.
Exactly. When things like this are happening, it's so extremely hard, and right now, TSM just look poised to win this. They want to close it out in style.
And look at this. I mean, they're reading it like a book as well. They pick off one of the defenders, then they just walk out onto the B side. This is textbook from TSM. This is confidence from them and their ability to just walk in here and claim this site. And now they're setting up for the flank. Existence here with the dig. Can he do his flamey? Is he burning bright enough here? Apex is helping out as well with that CZ. Big nade onto Apex, actually just doing a little bit of damage, but then it just turns into the total blender moment. Kerrigan and Cajun shredding them as they try and push onto the site, and Titan now doing the best they can to stay in this game, but it's all down to Apex, and he's going to get shut down by Device.